Some news coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mega Agniveer outreach. He is interacting with first Agniveer batch. Amid salvo from Agniveer, critics expect the Prime Minister's fiery Agniveer counter. Let's go straight to the Prime Minister who's speaking right now. In fact, we'll go across to that event in a few seconds from now. This is the Prime Minister's Agniveer outreach that we are talking about. This comes at a time when there's been a great deal of criticism as far as this particular scheme of the Government of India is concerned. The Prime Minister is in fact interacting with first Agniveer batch. Amid salvo from critics of Agniveer, expect the Prime Minister's first counter as far as Agniveer is concerned. Abhishek Bhalla has more details on that. This is the first interaction of the Prime Minister, Abhishek, with the first batch essentially of those who have made the cut essentially. Give us a sense of what the Prime Minister is expected to say. Is this going to be some sort of a political message also to those who've been criticizing Agniveer?
Well, definitely big messaging as far as the government is concerned. Remember, the Agniveer recruitment scheme was at the center of controversy. There were violent clashes in several parts of the country by people who were aspirants, and the Defence Ministry and the Defence Forces at that point of time also, had to go out of their way to send out a message that this is not a scheme to ensure that people remain unemployed, but in fact this is the way forward for the kind of military establishment that the country is looking at. Still there are some apprehensions, but this is what it is, and things are clear that after 4 years, 75% of those recruited will be eased out from the forces. But having said that, people have come in high numbers as recruits. In fact, even women Agniveers are being recruited by all three forces. So it seems that things are in place. And now that the first batch is getting recruited, the Prime Minister himself speaking to them, not just a morale booster, but also a kind of reassurance that this scheme will keep them in the right spirit and in the right place.
Abhishek, as far as this scheme is concerned, there's been political criticism with Rahul Gandhi also targeting the centre continuously. He has also recently said that the army recruitment scheme has ruined the future of the youth. Army veterans also have certain apprehensions. Talk to us a little about what these apprehensions are.
Well, there are a lot of concerns within the veteran community, and also the issue has been at the center of a political controversy. The concerns are primarily about the fact that, after 4 years, a chunk of those who will be trained at being professional military personnel will have to be eased out. So that's the basic concern, that what will these people do, and the fact that, so much time is invested in training them to be professional military personnel. What's the need to ease them out, and why should they be shown the door after 4 years, and will it lead to an unprofessional force? But on the other side, the counter argument is that the forces need a lean and mean military, and that another aspect is that the defense budget, a chunk of it is for pensions of retired personnel. So by ensuring that many of them are actually eased out after 4 years, that will also come down.
As far as the first batch is concerned, give us a sense of how many people are there in the first batch, and what will be the recruitment essentially be like, Abhishek?
Well, all three forces have been carrying out their recruitment. This is the first batch of the army that will be joining the force. And as I said, that people have come out in high numbers. So those concerns that were being raised, that people will actually shy away from joining the military under the Agnipath scheme, that has been proven wrong. And now after training, the first batch will be part of various duties They'll be joining various arms of the forces, just like regular soldiers.
I want to understand from you, Abhishek, how does this really work in terms of how they are trained? How different is the training period for Agniveers from the regular recruitments essentially within the forces?
Well, the training essentially is not very different from what was happening. It's just the manner and the procedure of what happens after 4 years. Earlier, if you were recruited once, you stayed for life. In fact, it was after 16 years. If you did not make the cut for the next rank, would you retire? So if a youngster would make it at the age of 18, 19 or 20, he was definitely serving for the next 15, 16 years. That's not going to be the case now. 75% of these will be eased out, and only the top 25% who will stay will need to make the cut. So there are various parameters that have been decided on how they will be judged and what the top 25% are going to be. If they tick all those boxes, then they stay back. The rest obviously will have to leave the force. And then there are various incentives that have been also given to those who will be leaving.
I want to talk to you about those incentives in a few moments from now. Abhishek, be with us. Majid Memon is also with us. Thank you for your time. Your take on what this scheme essentially is. The opposition has been extremely critical. And however, the Agniveer scheme is getting rolled out. The first batch is now interacting with the Prime Minister. Mr. Memon. Abhishek continues to be with us. He'll try and connect with Mr. Memon in a minute from now. But Abhishek, you were telling us about the incentives that will be given after their term essentially is over.
चाइना का सैनिक जो है वो 4 साल का अग्निवीर नहीं है, उसकी ट्रेनिंग 10, 15, 20 साल की है। और हमारे जवान को आप 4 साल की 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हो। जब लड़ाई होगी उस साइड 10, 15 साल की ट्रेनिंग और इस साइड 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग, कैसी देशभक्ति है ये? इसका नतीजा आप सब समझ जाओ। तो जो भावना है हमारे युवाओं के दिल में, जो भावना है देशभक्ति की भावना है, उसका मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं, उसका अपमान कर रहे हैं और नाम अग्निवीर दे दिया।
All right, Majid Memon is with us. Sir, I was asking you that in spite of all the criticism, the scheme essentially is being rolled out with the Prime Minister today interacting with the first batch. What's your take? Mr. Memon, if you can hear me, we're talking about the Agniveers scheme.
Yes. You see, I must express myself by saying that, well, anything that is being done to strengthen our army, to encourage our jawans, to protect our country, has to be welcome, irrespective of the fact that we may have political differences. But the Honorable Prime Minister, is he making this kind of a publicity of as though he is providing jobs to all the unemployed youth of the country? Well, what was the promise by BJP? 2 crore jobs every year to the unemployed youth in the country, which would mean in the last 9 years, 18 crore jobs should have been generated. But where are we on the ground? Millions and millions of youth, educated young boys and girls are without jobs. When the government makes an application or invitation for 100 jobs or 500 jobs, there are 5 lakh applicants. And everybody, 99.9% are disappointed because they can't be absorbed, because there are no jobs. So we are asking the Prime Minister, don't pat yourself and your party that as though you have done a great favor in the country by having a batch of Agniveers and then take some kind of a credit thereof. Millions and millions of youth are looking upon you to provide them jobs for their survival. Right to life itself is in danger. Therefore, I think the BJP, rather than publicizing a small achievement, which is 0.1%, should take care about 99.9% people who are suffering because of the maladministration.
All right, I'm going to thank you for the moment. There is a misadministration, and that's the reason why people are suffering, is what the opposition essentially says, and this is essentially taking pride in a scheme which is hardly benefiting people, is the sum of what Mr. Memon has just said. Remember, we're talking about the Agniveers scheme being recruited to the Air Force and the Navy, and the training had started. Today, the Prime Minister is interacting with the first batch of those essentially who have made the cut. This comes at a time when the opposition has been questioning the scheme, with Rahul Gandhi also talking about it, saying that this has actually ruined the future of the youth, in spite of the fact that certain incentives have been offered. After protests essentially also broke out in different parts of the country, with many people criticizing the scheme, veterans have also had their own set of reservations as far as this issue is concerned.
पूरी जिंदगी सेना आपकी देखभाल करती थी। अब नई योजना लाए हैं, अग्निवीर योजना। इसमें आप 4 साल काम करोगे, उसके बाद जूता मार के निकाल देंगे। और फिर तुम्हें जो करना है कर लो, रोजगार मिले ना मिले मर जाओ, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। आपको 4 साल मिलेंगे, 4 साल के बाद आपको 1 मिनट नहीं मिलने वाला।
Abhishek continues to be with us. Abhishek, you were telling us about the incentives being offered after that term is over.
That's right, Sneha. There is an amount that will be paid, about 12 lakh after 4 years, that each of these Agniveers will have. These are those who do not make the cut. Other than that, there were advisories given to various state governments that they should be employing these Agniveers in various capacities within the forces. Also, the Central Armed Police Forces will look up to these, who are already trained men from the military. But it remains to be seen whether, those who actually leave after 4 years, what kind of employment opportunities come their way. This is still very early to talk about, because we'll only know about this once the first batch actually completes 4 years, and 75% of these, as is part of the scheme, will be asked to leave the military. So it's only after 4 years will one get to get a real assessment of how these young men and women are faring in life.
All right, I'm going to thank you, Abhishek, for getting us up to speed with all of those developments as far as the